Okay.
I forgot to check the. There.
Turn this. Okay, you can see us.
Yep.
Camera's a
guys.
little grainy. All right, we'll wait a few minutes to see if anyone shows up.
Do you want me to?
What? What are you doing? Yeah, it'll likely be just the two of us again, but that's okay.
Well, we're live. We can do it now.
Yeah. I'll just
We can do it now. We're alive.
let me just get the link.
Someone's on with us. Hello.
No?
Yeah, they were just on.
No. Oh, you posted in Signal, that's right.
Yep. All right, we're just getting set up. Give you guys some time to come start coming on.
Okay, I just posted it to Morgan, see if he can
All right. Okay, guys. Tonight we're talking about high strangeness, Bigfoot, weird happenings, some true crime, possibly. I've it's all from me at least. I don't know what Sarah has.
I pulled notes from
various
stuff
things
that I have. So
Okay. I'm basically doing just Victoria City and Vancouver Islands.
yeah, I was pulling from Weird Egypt and A Strange Little Place when I had to quit to start cleaning and cooking. So.
Okay, so if you want to start, I'll.
Okay, I just need to pull up my
Notes.
Oh, that's not the right thing.
Mine is in two places because halfway through I had to go to physio.
Okay. So the first thing I have is I started today looking at academic research. I know there's a group of people who turn their nose up at academic paranormal research, and then there's other people that no academia has studied it, which is completely untrue. And there's nothing wrong with academia research into paranormal because paranormal is like folklore, religions, beliefs, and stuff. Yeah. And then when you get into resonance, that's actually scientific. So to turn up your nose at academia studying paranormal, you're really limiting yourself to Facebook science. Academia does research it. They just have to follow rules. The academia stuff isn't super exciting. And you basically more understand how it affects people and cultures. So the one I found Cliff and Matt Moneymaker from I believe it's Finding Bigfoot.
Yeah.
So the academic research is The Shape of Bigfoot, Transmitting Absences into Credible Knowledge Claims by J. Lewis and A. Bartlett. They actually contacted well-known people throughout the Bigfoot community. Cliff and Matt Moneymaker were two of the people who participated in it, and they were studying how belief or knowledge of Bigfoot works in those communities, and they basically found in the absence of answers is where Bigfoot lies. It's a lot more complicated, and that's really simplified, but I didn't bring the whole paper because it's a lot of boring academic stuff. It just helps me understand a little bit better how sorry, got allergies. people interact with belief. Because I'm sorry to say to some of the flesh and blood and people who think big ghosts are dead people, that I think the paranormal is more about us and our beliefs and how we interact with the universe. So I study everything around the paranormal to better understand the paranormal itself, and it has changed the way I see things. Like, Stone Age soundtracks completely changed my view of ancient peoples and sound and belief.
Well, they literally made a theater out of a cave.
Yeah. These supposedly quote unquote primitive peoples attract residents without any kind of technology, that what we think of technology today. So anyways, that's my rant on people hating on academia. So this was the um Cliff and Matt and them, they were actually taking a break from filming, and they had a really frustrating night. And from the sounds of it, this sounds like it was in the beginning of the show when the production team was trying to push them to do things that they thought were unethical and stuff. And Bigfoot is the more you look for Bigfoot, the less you'll find. That is the thing with Bigfoot. You go out into the woods with all this technology and you might get some hoots, you might get some infrared and whatnot. So they're sitting, not filming, and Matt goes, "Who's over there?" And everyone's like, "No one's over there." And he's like, "Hey!" And he starts yelling. So this is directly from the academia paper, and it says, Cliff, Moneymaker, and the others saw Bigfoot when they were taking a break from filming. Matt stood on the hill and started yelling. The Bigfoot stopped, stood on one leg, frozen like an animal that has been seen, then kept walking. Cliff described the strange walking, quote, the arms were kind of scooping forward like when you're in the shallow end of a pool and you're walking, end quote. So that was kind of interesting. And they picked Bigfoot encounters from, I'll have to go over the paper. I'll have to reread it and go over it. I realize that might be far more interesting, but they go over several different famous Bigfoot community people and then talk about, to show the different, I just read it, so I'm still digesting it. They show how Bigfoot exists in the absence. And that was just kind of show like that it couldn't have been another animal. It had to have been Bigfoot. And it's not, the article isn't to criticize people. It's a, to put it simply, it's a way they're trying to understand how knowledge is dealt with in the Bigfoot community.
Double slit experiments. I've been mulling over.
Well, that's not even. Well, that's not high strangeness. That's hard science. That
But you can use it for.
Well, I mean, that is just is magic. So the double slit experiment is where they found that when there are when you're observing, the results change.
Yeah.
And that just goes back to the basic of intention of magic. Magic is not Harry Potter. Magic will not make you rich. Stop doing love spells. They're stupid and they're gross and they're creepy. And like, I'm studying folk magic, and like the love spells that we are taught are like breaking obstacles between you and a loved one, ending conflict. So stop casting love spells. Like, I'm sorry, but the whole love spell and practical magic's just freaking creepy. Love spells are creepy.
Well, it goes
Yeah.
goes
So
to the point
the
that
idea is
in
like
the
when
movie, yeah.
in hard science they found your results will change when you're observing it. Well, it's magic is the same thing. You're saying to the other that I want this intention. I want this intention. I want to make it happen. I manifest it. And sometimes it goes poof, and sometimes it'll be years later, but you're sending out to the universe what you want to manifest. Like for me, I was reading Weird Egypt and doing a lot of research into earth science and stuff. And we had a really bad windstorm. And like we have fault lines everywhere, but if you look at the fault line map, it looks like we're in this strong plate of no fault lines. The thing is where we live is also where Fort Victoria was like is getting established and stuff. Like Saanich did get settled later because we're the farms, but still it's the earlier parts of the development of Victoria. And the thing is up until recently, to discover fault lines, you had to dig these massive trenches to see it. So in busy city areas, lack of a fault line mapped may not be a lack of a fault line.
It's true. It's true. A lot of the times when that's the trickster side of it too, because
yeah, there's a lot of Nathan Paul Isaac in the Patreon has gone in deep into it, how where science and high strangeness is intersect. And he told us one story. I have to like go back and watch.
Kind of it'll yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Good. I'll shut up.
I have to go back and like listen to the live stream and take notes because it's at the end of my day when I'm just relaxing. So I just enjoy listening to them. But there was one story he was talking about where they were studying something a little bit more woo-woo. And it got too crazy, and the scientists started seeing something in their homes. I think at one point a hooked hand manifested. I don't remember the name of the experiment. It was probably a year ago more that Nathan told us that. So, and then of course there's the Philip experiment, which that is a scientific experiment. It was done doing the scientific method. I have the book.
Hi, Bruce.
Yeah. I recognize his handle. Thank you for joining us, Bruce. We love to see you, even if it's your text. But the Philip experiment, they created a ghost. So I have the book, and the book's on Internet Archive, so it's on the list of book clubs. And to book club is free, but to join us on Zoom to talk about the book, you have to be a Patreon member, but it does get eventually released. We're really behind. I think
I'm ready to upload like 4.
Yeah,
3 or 4.
The next one is we did Phone Calls from the Dead, the original book. So that's the next one that will get released. And then we have there's the
Stone Age soundtracks.
And then the Zen Cab Driver one.
And then I think we're caught up because all of the
What's the last one we did? Oh, that was Stone Age soundtrack. Yeah. So, anyways, what were we talking? Oh, Earth. Okay, so yes, so it looks like there's no fault lines here, but there could be. Today's technology, they can actually use LiDAR, but we're a very busy city. We have an international airport. We have the Coast Guard, the military base, and then also sometimes we have to helicopter people to Vancouver. So they can't really fly around too much in helicopters. They only do it really for checking our sewer lines. So it looks like there should be no fault lines, but I was reading Weird Egypt, I was doing this research, and we see these flashes of light like it's lightning, but deep turquoise. And I was like, we're having a windstorm. I wonder if that was Transformers. So we watched multiple videos of Transformers, and the way it flashed wasn't the same way as we saw, and the nearest Transformer blue was so far away,
We
like
wouldn't have seen it. Yeah.
It was too brilliant. But the direction it was in was the direct, we believe, it's kind of confusing here, but we think it's in the direction of the university where there's a fault line that runs right through it. So
that could have been.
I was doing research on tectonic strain theory, and the universe was like, okay, see an earthquake light. So and the ones in Mexico look pretty similar to what I've seen, like not above like just like blue light, like the
flashes,
like when lightning goes off, but you don't see the bolt and you see the thing light up.
Yeah.
So high strangeness is very weird for that. I recommend keeping a high strangeness journal. It just helps you. Also doing random nautica, because one of the theories is that we're stuck in this drone mindset. And so doing random nautica and being like, that's a weird coincidence, and writing it down, you start to notice things. Or you can get into Zen, because Zen does the same thing.
Yeah, put Zen you in that liminal space.
It's like, I love this movie. I know everyone hates it, but The Last Samurai. The samurai becomes obsessed with finding the perfect rose petal. And
not rose, cherry
blossom. And it doesn't until he's dead he finds they're all perfect. And we get stuck in our mindset. And so Zen kind of teaches you to watch the falling leaf and whatnot, and
be present in the moment.
Yeah, and I can say, like, I'm not really good at Buddhism, but I do random nautica. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. Someone else.
Movie. I love that
Thank
movie.
You,
Bruce. So I do random nautica. I keep high strangeness journal, and I listen to a variety of podcasts to get out of my mindset. So, like, I have a health science podcast, a conspiracy theory podcast, a paranormal podcast, a true crime, and it causes my brain to constantly pivot. So I'm never in my comfort zone. And I've noticed we've started to notice things that others don't. With me, I don't see like weird things. I have close animal encounters. I've noticed, so thanks to April, my friend, I love it, Jones, and
it is awesome.
Just don't treat it as historical.
It's accurate. Not historically accurate at all.
Treat it as a
action flick.
Yeah, just a fictional movie. Like, if like the history isn't perfectly accurate, and it's like, who cares? It's a wonderfully brilliant movie.
It's a book that was written about when when the U.S. went to Japan in the turn of the century.
Japan was always were samurais fighting with each other, and the unification of Japan was not pretty, and it was fraught with lots of battles and whatnot. And The Last Samurai is kind of like the final battle before Japan became unified. Sorry, I keep getting sidetracked. Yes, so I noticed animal encounters. So, like, there was one day we were on the Goose, and I just happened to look up, and I stopped, and I was like, oh my God, look, there was a tree. So in Victoria, we have a ton of turkey vultures. They migrate up here, and before, I'm not sure where they go, or if they just stay here and then
they go down south. Yeah.
They were all roosting in a tree together, and everyone on our bike trail was just zooming past. Okay. Everyone was zooming past and missing it. And when I was stopped and taking pictures, people were like, what do you see? And I'm like turkey vultures. And they couldn't have cared less. They kept zooming. But it's those special moments you notice. So
Yes.
if you can't get into Zen Buddhism, it's okay. Yeah, I love turkey vultures. They're not scary here. They look scary, but they are very chill birds.
Wasn't one
So
did a barrel roll in front of
no.
us?
So what happened was we lost touch because of the pandemic, but we had a friend who had moved here. I miss him. I can't remember his name, but I miss you terribly, who worked at Whole Foods with us. And
His
so
name is Brian.
Brian, yes, Brian. I miss you terribly. I hope you see this. We miss you. Um, I'll remember someone's weird story from 15 years ago, but I'll forget their name. So we went to the Christmas Hill, which is um a large hill. I've heard it's a thunder hill, but I don't know if that's true. I have to actually like look into the indigenous legends. I haven't heard of thunderbirds here, but I've seen West Coast art of thunderbirds, so it could be. But it's a nature sanctuary, and we were hanging out, and we're sitting and we're talking, and we hear the sound of a cloak unfurling. Like if you imagine someone taking off a cloak, in that sound, and we look over to our left, and there is a turkey vulture low to the ground, just soaring past us to go down to the water and to join the circle of turkey vultures. You keep distracting me.
Go ahead.
Okay, stop distracting me.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was a very cool encounter. What you're remembering is we went to the same place and we put an offering, and a raven did a barrel
roll in front of us, kind of like a thank you.
Yeah, I don't see like the only UFO I saw was like a point of light. I don't see Bigfoot. I don't see aliens. I don't see any of that. I have close animal encounters.
At work at Whole Foods, you saw that shadow thing.
Oh my god. Okay, so I had kidney stones, a kidney stone years ago, 2012, and it doesn't bother anymore. And I've never felt anything malicious at Whole Foods, so I don't think it was anything bad. But I was waiting for the automatic door to take the garbage up, and I started to have that anxiety sensation and pain in my left side. And the doctor couldn't understand why I was having a kidney stone. I was too young, I was too healthy, and they were like, and they handed me a pamphlet, and like it was basically a WebMD print off about kidney stones. So he said you might get them again. So I was like, oh god, here we go. Oh my god. And I'm so like, there's nothing you can do. You're like, okay, this is happening. So I just keep doing my job. I take the garbage out, and I see this perfectly round black ball go like this across the wall and disappear. And as it was there, I felt the awful sharp pain in my kidneys of a kidney stone. And then when it was gone, my kidney stone was gone. And that is weird because I've definitely been in haunted places. We went to Northern State Recreation
Center and site.
That's what it's called. It's where the old Northern State asylum was, but it's now like got a long Northern State recreational everything site. Didn't feel it there. We've been to a few haunted places, didn't feel it. That is the only time I felt the kidney stone. And I thought that was really interesting because I've lived in the same place since we moved here. So I've been to that building a lot, and I got kidney stones who was here. And so I find that really interesting. And I'm not going to be like, "Oh, a ghost caused my kidney stone." I just find that interesting. So
Who
that's
knows if it was a ghost? It could have been some other type of entity.
yeah, it was very strange. The only other thing I've seen with my eyes um is I saw a ghost Rottweiler twice in Indiana. Thanks to don't take this as a dig, April, if you watch this in the rerun. It's not a dig, but thanks to April, I found out that I was haunted while I was living in Indiana. I always said, why doesn't anything ever happen to me? And I realized while I was living in Indiana, I was haunted. It was happening all the time. And so I did that thing where when you're in the moment, it just becomes as normal as any part of your routine. Oh yeah, no, I am planning on an acupuncture. It's just I'm going to university, so it's like dentist, need to get my eyes done. We're going up island because I need a break, so that's money. So like balancing it. So acupuncture is definitely on the yeah. I believe in acupuncture. I think it's real. I believe it more than I believe in Reiki.
Well, Reiki,
which I'm going to
acupuncture,
warn
Reiki,
anyone who I haven't done acupuncture, but I have lots of people who've done it. Don't freak out if you get emotional in acupuncture. It's actually very normal to get emotional. And most acupuncturists are seasoned, so they know how to deal with it. So don't be ashamed if you start crying.
And if it starts to burn, let them know.
Yeah.
Don't if it starts to burn, or if they put the needle in and it starts to bleed profusely, don't freak out. It's normal.
Yeah.
It's too much chi in the particular area, and it's just bleeding out.
I can say I've had dry needling and dry. So acupuncture is not that bad. Like dry needling is worse than acupuncture, and it's pretty okay. So, yeah. Yeah. So I saw a ghost at we had a Catholic cemetery, and the caretaker was very chill about us walking in the cemetery as long as we didn't damage anything. So I was in and out of that cemetery all the time and never saw anything, except I was raised by boomers, so I'm a feral child. So I was walking past it outside the gates at night, and I saw a Rottweiler lunge at the gates and then disappear, and it only happened for a second, and it was like, ugh. And then that was it. And then I don't know how much time later, he was at the corner of the sidewalk and did the same thing to me. And then that was it. And then I never saw him again. And the fact that I saw him outside the cemetery is
that's interesting, because normally when you have an apparition, it stays to a routine area. Now maybe its routine area was
or if
where
it's
that
a ghost
corner
dog,
is.
they usually are protecting something, but it saw it outside. I think that's it I've seen physically.
Physically, yes, but you've had other experiences.
I've had a ghost scream at me. When I first opened the altar, I had to tell the energy to back off because it just wanted to be on me and made me physically sick. But as soon as I said, "You're making me sick, please back off," it backed off. I've had a like stereotypical cartoon dream of alien abduction and then had a fairy follow me home. But I was also reading about UFOs in Nova Scotia, and so I think that was more the trickster kind of laugh fairy. Yeah. And the fairy lived with us as long as we lived in Nova Scotia.
Yeah. And then possibly came here with us.
Yeah, well, it took a few years.
Yeah.
So, I know we're just talking about our experiences, but so this is the weirdest thing. Like, I don't believe in ghost adventures. It was crap, but I did believe it at once because I'm gullible and I believe in these things. And so unfortunately, it was very easy for me to get to believe in that. And I've since the pandemic turned me into a hard skeptic about a lot of things. But the weirdest thing is the first time I remember seeing the fairy is they were in Nevada. I can't remember if they were on reservation land or if it was just after reservation land, but there was a moth on the table where they are, and the moth went into the flame in the TV show, and then a moth was in front of our TV, and then we had a moth in the house, and now we have connection with moths all the time.
Yep.
And that's really strange. Yeah, pandemic made me witchy. It's actually interesting.
Us too. Well, more so than usual.
Yeah, we'd always been witchy. I stopped practicing because I lived in Indiana, so it was either Satanism, Christian, or Wicca, which neither one aligned with me. And I went to Barnes and Noble because I'm just a stubborn kid, and it was very frustrating because like Sylvia Brown was in the metaphysical thing. And so then I tried to go online and everyone's like, oh, it was the glory days when it first online. No, people have been passing misinformation online since web pages started. And I had enough knowledge to realize that they were saying like, making up things about druids that weren't true, and they were adamantly defending it. So I actually quit spirituality and I just stuck
Yep.
Oh, that's funny. Um so I stopped like with all spiritual stuff because I was just so like, I can't tell what's real. I can't find anyone to help me. So I started studying like a lot of Buddhism and
Witch Vox.
science.
That was interesting. Yeah.
I don't know which Vox.
Yeah.
Oh, so these people online were saying that the druids never died, and there's a secret organization of druids that have kept this knowledge forever and ever. But when you dug into their magic, they were using Wicca to fill in the holes where we couldn't find it, which there's nothing wrong with that. I don't judge anyone. The problem is they were presenting it as like ancient druidic knowledge, and I was trying to learn new things.
Yep.
And so it was their dishonesty.
I remember it, Bruce.
It was their dishonesty that really turned me off. If they had just said, we're using Wicca to fill in the gaps where we don't have it, I would have been like, oh, that's cool. That's fine. So it was just clearly their dishonesty.
Yeah.
There is no evidence that there's a secret order of people that kept druid magic alive. That'd be great if we ever found out it was true, but I mean,
well, in England there's been several several groups have revived druidic orders, but they don't have actual historical connection.
If you actually study the Celts, you could easily say, I had a connection to my ancestors. I'm pulling from ancient knowledge. There are things that you can say that makes more sense. They were like, I'm lazy. And they were charging people $400 to become, druid priests and stuff. And I'm very turned off by that. Like, if it's something like spend $400 for a 5-day retreat and you're going to these places in England and you're going to do these things, totally, because you have to pay for the travel and the use.
And that,
but $400 for someone to send me information online is shady.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I am going to university and I'm spending like $1,800 a semester, but I get like an accredited certificate. I can get a job, not some shady person on the internet who you don't know.
There are credible schools online for magic, and that they're few and far between. You have to be very careful.
Oh yeah, you can actually get in some schools, you can become a like university certified occultist.
Yeah.
And they that counts. It got you a job. So
Yeah.
yeah, and
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, Bruce. They had different gods, different methods and whatnot. Um,
Yeah, anyone who's interested in Celtic, you will have to go on your own journey because
it is
what
very
basically
fragmented.
Celtic
Yeah.
belief is you take a vase and you get a giant sledgehammer and smash into 1,000 bits, then take a handful of the bits and throw them away, and then you have to piece together what is left, and that is basically the Celts. We know more now than ever thanks to archaeology and um they're one of the big things, and I love to rub it in people's faces that try to do that stupid white Celt thing. The
Celts
Gun
weren't
the
all
Gunstrap cauldron, there is a horn god and the seal of
Pashupati.
no, it's no, what's the Indus Valley seal, I believe it's
Yes, it's
called.
in this. Yeah.
They are the same figure. The only difference is the horns of the Gunstrap cauldron are more like the horns of you would see in
Exactly, Johnson. The
yeah, see,
Turkish.
Turkish Celts. Exactly. So with artifacts, you can actually track the Celtics. The Celts that we know today, I think, are the 7th migration.
Yeah.
And you can see how they came from the Indus Valley, which is now known as Pakistan. I think it's still called Indus Valley, but it's in Pakistan now.
Yeah.
From there, oh, excuse me, to Europe. Uh, yeah, you'll find your thing, Bruce. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
just keeps.
It.
It's really just being about curious. Like, I'm studying folk magic, and for me, it was like I was studying ceremonial magic and it just wasn't clicking for me. There was having a lot of issues with it. It could have been with the teacher that I was learning from, but I was we had already done our interview with Brandon Weston
Yeah, and Michelle Belanger.
and Michelle Belanger, and I was like, I wonder if I should study folk magic. And we had both got COVID, and the way quarantine works, I had to quarantine for an extra like 5 days before I could go back to work. So I walked him to work so I could get kind of back in the things. And I'm coming home and the moon is full and in my direct path the whole way home. And I'm like, okay, I don't think signs could be any more clear than that. um so
With when you're trying to find your own path with magic,
you just gotta be curious.
you have to be curious, willing to learn something off the wall, and don't. If someone tries to gatekeep something and say you're not ready for it, maybe you're not ready for it, but doesn't mean that you can't learn it.
The big red flags is you need to do it this way. There's no other way. That's a big
That's a big red flag.
One of the things I've learned is
Exactly.
yeah, one of the big things I've learned is that Oliver, and this goes to just how we teach kids now in public school. All of our brains are different. And so none of us learn the same way. So to say that there's one way to do things is really, really silly.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to be different. I can't visualize at all. And so I write things down. Like we did a spell because I was really worried about the salmon. I drew the ugliest freaking salmon that you could. The only reason why you could tell it was the salmon was I remembered to put a
little hook on the beak.
A hook on the beak and drew like where the pink would be on the bottom. And we did the spell and we just I can't remember the words, but I put the salmon in the bowl and then I poured the water over it. And like we had known rain was going to come, but I was like, I'm just going to do this anyways because we need to save our salmon. And it rained for like 3 days. And it rained on my birthday, but I don't care. The salmon were happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should probably talk about high strangeness instead of bitching about
magic and whatnot.
Do you want to go or do you want me to keep?
I can go with some.
I just pulled some stuff.
Okay. For this, I decided I was going to do only Victoria. And so I've been looking at different phenomena. I'll start with Bigfoot. I had my own experiences with Bigfoot up on Christmas Hill. I had 2 encounters. One was a diminutive, like 4-foot one that was playing peekaboo behind Sarah and beside a friend of ours. And another instance, it walked by and disappeared out of nowhere. So when you look at that, when something not at least 9 feet tall and hairy walks along and then completely disappears when it passes by a tree, that's not a physical thing.
Mm-mm.
And so when you look at high strangeness, you have to take everything into account. You can't be like
Johnson asked if you were frozen.
Frozen?
Like, did you freeze? I don't think you did.
No, I didn't. I noticed it the first time, the little ones. I did freeze for a second and question myself. I said, did I just see what I thought I seen? And then I saw it like 3 more times, and I was like, did you guys see this? And they said no.
No, Brian
saw something.
I didn't see it, which is usual for me. So
but your back was also to it, so it'd been hard for you to see something. Yeah. Now then, the second one, what scared me was it disappeared. And because it disappeared, I didn't know where it was, and I didn't know whether it would be in our path when we were going home. But the same day that we saw it, we saw the deer on the way home that you took the picture of.
Oh, so this was a different day?
Yeah.
So that was I'm gonna butcher this name, and I'm sorry. No, it was on Lugsnod Lughh day. And you typically climb a hill. We don't celebrate pagan holidays as much. Today is May Day though, so happy Beltane.
Happy Beltane.
So this is perfect, but I try to when we can. So on Lug Day, we climb a tall hill. Oh my God, that's scary, Jones. And shadow people are scary.
Shadow people are crazy.
So we were climbing a hill. So we did like a very simple ritual because I'm still learning. So I'm very much a newbie. So my rituals are, and we bring an offering. We the big thing is we eat together. We
nice.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
That's gonna be fun.
The big thing is that we eat together. I'll put an offering for the house fairy, and the altar, and one for each of us, and we all eat together. And then we say whatever prayer is appropriate for that time. I can't remember the Lug Day, what that one is. I think that one's
one.
That one's in August, so that has to be like a summer thing.
It's a harvest.
So festival. Then we closed the ritual, and we were walking up the hill. Or no, we were walking back from the hill after you'd seen your thing.
Yeah.
And we saw a deer. And he looked different than the deer here. Like his skin, his fur was paler and his eyes were black. And I took pictures of him, and I thought when I took a picture of him, I was like, I didn't get a good picture of him. I don't know what's going to turn out. I got a really good picture of him, and the picture looks pretty normal, but it's a little bit interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I saw the Bigfoot. She saw the deer.
Yeah, I have close
I'm
animal.
wondering if the two were the same.
It could be because I have close animal encounters. Like you just found out the other day, we have something called swamp rabbits, and they're
Yeah.
very elusive. And
They're
the other day,
big rabbits.
yeah, well, yeah, it's a not deer.
Yeah, a not deer. Yep.
So I was walking home, and this encounter was even special because I grew up with Peter Cottontail, and we have bunnies everywhere because people uh let go of their rabbits everywhere here.
Yep.
So we just have an explosion of rabbit population. It's really sad they have to do a call every so often because it's so bad in the city. But I was walking and I saw a bunny. I was like, "Oh, it's a bunny." He had a perfectly round white tail, but when the bikers came by, um um uh they scared the rabbit and he jumped. And when he jumped, he had such long legs. And so
Yeah.
I told AJ, and AJ is like, I think it's a hare. And then he was on TikTok and he's like, I think this is what you saw. And
Yeah.
it was a swamp rabbit. And they are
Yes, it is. It is an Appalachian thing, the not deer.
the swamp rabbit is a rabbit that can swim. And they're in swamps all the time. Oh, that's cool. We didn't get to spend a lot of time in Tennessee. We wanna go back.
Yeah, we wanna go back.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, so, I saw that.
Now, I had a third encounter with Bigfoot, but this was out back of our house.
Mm.
Our apartment building has our trash cans and our compost at the back, and I don't normally go out at night to take out the compost, but this night it was overfull and it stank, and I had to get rid of it.
And I was yelling at you
And
probably.
and Sarah was probably yelling at me to get rid of it. So I went out there to do it, and there was this 9-foot tall creature. It When I got to the bottom of the steps, I hit the thing, and it turned and growled at me. And it had glowing red eyes, and that's why. Sorry, the fire truck going by right now.
We are a main thoroughfare.
Yeah. um, I didn't holler and run away. When it growled at me, it took a step towards me, and I'm kind of broken. I will get angry instead of scared. And I took a step towards it, and it freaked out. It went, "Whoa, you're not scared of me?" And then it ran and jumped over the fence. Now, the fence at the back is a 6-foot fence, and it leapt over that without touching it.
Yeah, which is pretty insane because it's very tall and there's nasty blackberry bushes, so you're gonna be caught up.
Yep.
Did I tell you that earlier this week I saw a raccoon? He was checking me out while I was taking out the trash.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, we'll get a raccoon. Wow, something's going on downtown. But yeah, I did punk out the Bigfoot, freaked him out. He and didn't come back after that. That was the last time I saw it in this area.
Yeah, it's we where we're going hiking up island, it's really popular, so we won't be able to. We're gonna do a Bigfoot ritual anyways, but I don't think we're gonna see anything. It's gonna be too many people.
It might be too many
But
people, but who knows?
we're close enough we could walk to the beach and
do something there.
Oh yeah, I love raccoons. Yeah, there's big ones in I don't know where you're at, Jonesy, but in Indiana we had big ones. We had one that was, God, I don't want to say as big as Sheltie. That's too big, but it was pretty close. And he was so big that we had this
Yep. Mount Rainier.
He's
near your old stomping grounds.
Oh, okay.
Sarah's from Everett, Washington.
Yeah, well,
I was born
there, and then my mom decided to move to Indiana to be closer, and that was a mistake. And now my entire family lives out here. Pretty quickly, all moved back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
He was almost as big as a Sheltie. I would say as big as a Sheltie puppy, and he was so big he could push on the door that just had one of those old-fashioned like hooks and break it open and just ate all the cat food. Just all the outdoor cat food.
Little buggers.
Oh, Leavenworth. I haven't been to Leavenworth since I was a kid. I gotta take you. It's like a German town.
Yep.
It's a lot of fun.
Now, talking about Bigfoot, when I went to tell that story to a podcaster, he tried to make me say that it was a demon. And that's not how I felt about the situation.
Oh,
and so you have to be careful.
So I think what we'll do is we'll make the post public I'll post notes that are public. Our friend Morgan, he's the Fortean librarian. I'm gonna make sure I get his handle right.
Yeah. The guy tried to make me
the Fortean bookshelf. That is Morgan. He's really, really, really into Bigfoot. The communities have gone really far right.
Yep.
So for Patreon, we did a guide for aliens and Bigfoots that was a newbie guide. And it's basically a list of authors that are safe to read. We'll have to make that public, the list at least. Yeah. Because you have to be careful. And what's really interesting, you don't know this because I did the research because I talked about, Sasquatch, Bigfoot, Wildman. And so Sasquatch is actually Saskets, and it comes from the Stalo people. And they are people who went to the forest to get what they needed to come back to be
shamans,
medicine
people,
who didn't return. So we were talking about when to use language, and we said Sask-S or Sasquatch is a Fraser Valley thing. So we all decided that Bigfoot is
more general and
or the wild man
or wild man. Yeah.
So one of the things I noticed when I was doing research is that the wild man was I don't want to say revered, but kind of revered. He was the spirit or some supernatural being on the edge of a forest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would be at the edge of the forest and protected the forest, and it could be your worst enemy or it could be your friend. Oh, I love the Yule lads. Love the Yule lads. Yeah. Every year for Patreon, we're focusing on something new to help people find what they want to celebrate in winter. Last year we did Krampus. I think we said we're doing Yule Cat this year.
Yule Cat this year, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, so when I was doing this research, what I found is as Christianity started to try to criminalize all things that they couldn't control or
what's the Yule is what
I think
Where's
the
it
Yule
from?
Cat is you have to have a new pair of socks or it comes and gets you.
Yes, you have to have a new
And
pair
I
of
think
socks.
it's Scandinavian.
Yes.
I have to look it up. There's tons of information. You just
In
Google it.
Scandinavia, they have all kinds of weird, dark Christmas celebrations. So it's kind of cool.
Okay, so what I noticed is as Christianity started to take hold and the old kind of pagan things became dark and evil things, you start to see the wild man turn more into madness and evil and dark. And so I find it
Yes,
I
it
find
is.
it very interesting that the podcast, we're not going to name the podcast, but the podcast that he was on that he was trying to push their demons, he had on a pastor who was talking about Bigfoot being in the Bible and being like demonic and stuff like that. And I don't know if Bigfoot's in the Bible. I've never heard of that, or if there's a wild man, but Bigfoot
Wild
is
man, yes, because of the Babylonian connection.
oh so I find that interesting because it goes with the idea that Christianity has demonized this wild spirit that we used to revere. And I've noticed in my research as I'm trying to uncover the true origins of wild man. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that Sarah talked about in our Bigfoot newbie guide was about the first wild man that we have a story for, which is Enkidu.
We can't talk about the woman though.
No.
On YouTube.
No, not on YouTube. We can't talk about that. That is in our thing. Jones and Bruce, if you want access to it, I can give it to you directly.
It's talking about the woman that turned him from wild man to
human.
Civilized. We actually went into a deep talk about it because they use a word for her that I feel like is even a mistranslation, because when I did the historical research on what kind of priestess she was, it was far more sacred and divine, and it was like ceremonial magic, not what we think. But anyways,
so Enkidu ended up being Gilgamesh's best friend, and the two of them went on conquering adventures, and they have a whole saga about it. But Enkidu is the first story of a wild man, the first story of a Bigfoot
literary representation. Like, it was very distinct about that. So I'm thinking that there might be some kind of artist representation that might be old, because they very specifically said literary representation.
There are huge reliefs of the Gilgamesh saga, so it might be.
But even if you look at I forget, I think it's called the Sorceress. There's a cave painting with an antelope with a human face.
Yeah. And that's the first instance of the horn god.
According to some. It's theory. We don't know what the people were thinking.
But the thing is, there's been horn god images. That are far older and
yeah. I have theories, but I have to research my theories. They're just opinions right now.
So let's go on to UFOs. Talk about Bigfoot. So let's talk about UFOs.
Should we tell them about oh my god, I forgot his name now. Oh god, I gotta look up his name.
So UFOs on the island. Granger Taylor.
Yes. Do you want me to tell the story?
Yeah, you can tell the story.
So there's this gentleman who lived in Duncan, and I can't remember the year, so I apologize.
It was 1981 who went missing.
Okay, so 60s, 70s, 80s. He is what most people believe we call autistic today. He was a mechanical genius.
Mechanical savant.
Yeah, savant is much more, yeah. He found a locomotive in the or a train, I should say, in the forest, and he took it apart piece by piece and then rebuilt it.
Yeah.
And he used to like run it for kids to ride on. And you can see it in Duncan, I believe it's called the Forest Discovery Center.
Mm-hmm. He also built a plane.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he had a Cessna plane that he that had crashed and he found in the woods, and he dragged that out and rebuilt it.
So he was very, very good at mechanical things, but he I don't want to I don't know the right verb, so I'm not going to describe anything. Like you can look up there's tons of information about him and people who are better at describing it, but I think he was awkward, we'll say. He was very, very smart but awkward socially.
He's very eccentric, and he was off-putting in that world.
I think he was that he had that autism or they it's harder for them with socialization.
Well, he didn't understand social cues.
But anyways, he disappeared during a massive rainstorm, and he left a message saying he would be back a certain amount of time, but it would be like 100 Earth years or something like that. And what's really interesting is when he describes the aliens, they sound very similar to, I believe it's in Tennessee. The indigenous that were in Tennessee, I believe it was the Stick people.
Yeah.
The way he describes them is the same as
same as them.
And so I found that very interesting. And I just recently, there's another Duncan UFO encounter I found from 1908 or 1911. I just read it, so I don't have it stuck in my mind.
It's the ghost ship.
No.
Or not the ghost,
I haven't told you about
the airship.
No, I haven't told you about this yet.
And this is another.
Yeah,
wow,
I just read it today. Duncan is a very liminal space. It's a very interesting space. It's not shady like people say it is, so don't believe that.
Hey, Bruce.
It's and so his case is really interesting, and the reason why we haven't done it is because people better than us have done it. Out there, Paranormal Crimes, I think that's the name of the TV show. They did a really good job of telling the Granger Taylor story. They talked to his family.
And they talked to his friends as well.
Yeah, so Out There, Crimes of the Paranormal, I believe that's what it's called. It's on Disney Plus. I don't know where else.
Netflix has documentary on it,
but
as well.
Netflix was not as good.
Yeah.
Paranormal. I think they did a really good job of representing Granger Taylor, so I recommend watching that. We can't do any better justice than that.
But the whole.
He did build a UFO in his backyard.
He did build a UFO in his backyard, but he disappeared. The cops, I think, more out of a wish to end the case and have it done with.
Say allegedly, there's some accusations. They said they found a
vehicle, but the thing is, a number of articles I've read today say that the serial numbers linked up to what his paperwork in the DMV with that site where the truck was blown up. But it's very, very circumstantial. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. At first it wasn't the right color, and so they tried to say it blew off the paint, but everyone said that Granger Taylor was incredibly intelligent and he wouldn't just mishandle dynamite. That wasn't something that would happen. So we don't know what happened to him. I think they closed the case. I'm not sure, but
when they found the truck, they closed the case, and someone did try to reopen it, but I think the local constabulary shut it down and said no. Let the family grieve and have peace.
Well, his mom left the porch light on for him every night until she passed. And she wouldn't lock the door because she was worried about him. But that's our local one. We're not doing it justice. That TV show does far better, and
we would have to do really, a lot to do better.
Yeah, we'll go to the Forest Discovery Center and definitely I'll take some photos, but like I want to be respectful because Granger Taylor was very, very loved. Everybody in Duncan loved him, and everyone grieved him.
Now, we were talking about cemeteries earlier, and we have the Ross Bay Cemetery here. Now, if you guys are informed about Satanic Panic at all, what started it all in Canada was the Michelle Remembers book. And
who did the really good? Oh, they might have access to it. Netflix. Satan Wants You.
Yes.
That is a CBC documentary. I don't know where you will find that in the US.
ABC.
So definitely check it out. That is the most up-to-date version that kind of talks about what happened with Michelle Remembers.
Okay. And what mystery? What was the name of the book you read? Michelle Remembers. She went to a psychiatrist, and they uncovered that she had been abused by a satanic cult. According to them.
So what happens was she was a woman in crisis. She had just had a miscarriage. She was vulnerable and in crisis. And she had gone to the psychiatrist, who I can't remember his name now. I should, but and it's very clear that in the documentary they say that she might have been at fault as much as him, but what I see is a woman in crisis. And the thing with the psychiatrist is I found this, and they don't say this in the documentary because there's no way to trace it. So the MK Ultra program continued in Canada after it was shut down in the States.
For another 30 years.
And it was done on unwilling participants who had no idea what was happening. It happened to Indigenous people and people who were mentally ill or there for other treatments, and they did not consent. They have sent when it got found out, it got shut down, but they didn't destroy the files. The psychiatrist who is responsible for Michelle Remembers worked at the university where it happened before they destroyed the files. So he didn't work there during MK Ultra, but he worked in the psychology department when those files were still there. So we will never be able to say what he saw or didn't see, but I find it very interesting that a psychiatrist or a psychologist that worked in the department where there very much still was the files for the MK Ultra then comes to Victoria, BC and starts the Michelle Remembers. And they did have an affair while they were both married, which again, that's unethical. He should have known that you don't do that, especially she was vulnerable. And so I think Michelle is as a victim. I really think she's a victim. I think she was deeply depressed and struggling because she had just had something very tragic happen to her, and this man manipulated her. And he put in he used manipulation to create these false memories. And sounds like the woman had difficulty with family. And
well, she disowned most of her family. His children had a hard time with the two of them. The fact that Michelle was constantly in their home and basically taking attention from the family.
Yeah,
when she shouldn't.
Satan wants you goes into detail.
It goes into detail.
But anyways, you were saying about Michelle remembers.
So what we found, a lot of people believed that book. They believed that she was tortured by a Satanist group in that cemetery.
At the Ross Bay Cemetery, which I have to say, like Victoria, I can't remember if it was the 70s or 80s. I want to say like 80s this happened. Victoria wasn't as built up as it is now, but it was Ross Bay was not in the middle of the thing, nowhere. It was in the city. Like if something is happening at that cemetery and a young girl is screaming for her life, the cops would have definitely been called.
Yeah. In Jones and said around the 70s. I think that's when
I can't remember.
Late 70s. So, anyways, there's a store across the street from the cemetery. That store has been a grocery store since the 60s. And it's been in that same area. It's a different company that owns it now than what it was, but it's been there the whole time. And there's houses all around it. Like old houses. These aren't new houses. They some of them date back to the late 1800s, around the time of Dunsmuir family.
Yeah, I just can't believe. Like, I know women are taught to scream fire instead of the other thing to get help, but I just can't believe that a young girl screaming and a bunch of people in the cemetery with lights is not going to draw attention.
It would have drawn attention.
And it just goes to show, like, if she really wanted to, if she really wanted to make up a story, there are places up island that you could go that there's nobody, and it's less than a 2-hour drive.
Yeah, it doesn't compute, but we have a lot of, like, we have the my brain is gonna. We have the Rosicrucians here.
Oh, we have Freemasons.
Freemasons.
And then I apologize, I can't remember. We have the female Freemason order as well.
Yeah.
We have, what's the guys with the funny hats? Oddfellows.
Oddfellows.
And we do have a okay, thank you, Bruce.
Thank you, Bruce.
Have a good night.
Have a good one.
We do I think that's it. Daughters of the Eastern Star, I think so.
Yes.
And we have what's the other one? Oh, we have the ceremonial magic people.
Thelmites temple, yeah.
But they're very low key. I never see them at any convention. I never see advertisements for it. So they're very low key. I think they're very, like, you have to know someone. We also have the Satanic Temple. They're also very low key. People like to say we're the occult capital of Victoria. I literally think it's just because this is a Freemason city.
Well, if you go outside the city limits to Colwood area, that's where all of the witchy people are.
They're in, like, Souk and stuff. Yeah.
They
oh my
sit
God,
and
chosen. Yeah.
See you later, Bruce. Have a good night.
But they're very, like, Wicca, earth magic.
Yeah, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I wouldn't really say this is the occult capital of Canada. I'm not sure where it gets it from. When we first moved
here, it's because of the aspects of Thelema and
when we first got here, they said that there was an Aleister Crowley
plaque
somewhere, and we searched everywhere.
They took it down. They took it down the year after we got here.
Yeah, we looked for it.
They have it in their archive, and you can see it, but they won't let you. do anything with it. Like,
you mean in the BC archives?
No, in the Market Square.
Oh, so they have it hidden in their private offices.
Yes.
Where, yeah, okay.
And speaking about occults,
I'll also say there's nothing. People get real excited when we tell them that there's a lot of Hecate names. We have like Hecate Strait, Hecate Bay, Hecate City, Hecate Mountain. It doesn't mean anything. I'm sorry, it's not some mysterious thing like
if you go to Victoria City, it's even better.
Yeah. And well, actually, I think Jones is really into like going out to like spooky places and hiking and stuff. So you want to go up island.
Yeah, up island would be better.
But everyone gets real excited. It was like, oh my god, there's so much Hecate on Vancouver Island.
But it's just a man who named his ship Hecate.
There was a British guy who was a Freemason who thought he was really smart in discovering something that had been discovered. Well, not discovered, that indigenous people have lived here since time immemorial. And so he just like was like, Hecate, Hecate, Hecate. So he was just a nerd. It doesn't mean anything. We've never felt any kind of like, there are very few.
There's more instances of connection with Baba Yaga here than with Hecate. But the thing is, certain tellings of the Hecate myth is very similar to Baba Yaga. And so it could be,
except Baba Yaga doesn't kill dogs.
No, neither does Hecate. Hecate really? Actually protects dogs.
So that whole
they're
thing
her
about
favorite animal.
Dogs is fake.
It's all bullshit.
Oh my god. Okay, of course it is.
Baba Yaga is awesome. Yeah. She's actually a mother of nature.
Yeah, you have to. I recommend Josen Baba Yaga's Book of Witchcraft.
Yeah.
It's I apologize. I forget. Madame Pamita, I think it is, or Pamita. I'm not sure how to say it. She actually went into the history and talked to a bunch of people, and that book is like one of the first books of reestablishing the Slavic mythos or belief system, I guess, or spirituality. And so in that book, it is a more, I think, the heart of Baba Yaga, like the true, I don't want to say the true story, what Baba Yaga was before Christianity and the Iron Curtain came in. And so like everyone's like, I always said for years, because it's like, well, she's got a belt of baby skulls. And I was like, and I always said, well, she's always in the woods. What if she doesn't kill and eat children? Those are the children that were left in the woods. Because one thing that we used to do with unwanted children is, like, we all have an instinct to protect children. So to kill a child, it takes you to cross a line, and not everyone can do that. And so what we used to do is we would leave them in the woods.
Yep.
And so I always said, I wonder if those are the children that were left behind. And if you read the Baba Yaga's Book of Witchcraft, she actually even goes further and returns the Baba back to the grandmother.
Yep.
And it's like, no, I don't put you into my fire to eat you, darling. I put you into my fire to transform you. It's like, if you don't pass the test, you need to go into the fire to transform so you can pass the test.
It was an initiation.
Yeah. And so, it's another thing that Christianity has twisted. So you definitely should read that book. It also teaches you about I'm not going to remember, but the old man, the great bearded man of the
yes. Yep.
the bearded man of the woods and the water nymphs. I can't remember their name for the life of me. It's at the tip of my brain, but I don't want to misrepresent them and put the wrong word in.
Okay.
It's a really good book.
Now, I was talking about the occult scene in Victoria, how another reason why they say this is the occult capital of Canada is because of the history of occult groups in this part of the country.
Oh yeah, Brother 7 or Brother 12.
Okay. Edward Wilson, aka Brother 12, was heavily influenced by spirit, the spiritualism movement,
and he met Aleister Crowley, who didn't really like him.
Yeah, Aleister Crowley didn't like him very much, but also when Aleister Crowley met him, he was into drugs, and Brother 12 was heavily into drugs, particularly opium, and shortly after that, he had his initiatory experience and became Brother 12. And he created this whole Aquarian organization.
Yeah, he was.
Yes, he was. With the Aquarian Foundation that they created and bought an island off the coast of Vancouver Island. We get it. We got it.
I'm trying to see if his place is still up for sale.
De Courcy Island, yeah. So De Courcy Island was his base of operations after a while, but he tried to manipulate the U.S. Government, the U.S. elections for the 1920s, and got ousted out of the U.S. Came back to Canada, founded this the island as a sanctuary, and eventually it all fell apart, kind of like what it did for Scientology recently. They've dropped in quite a few.
I can't tell. It's too hard.
A lot of people don't know about Brother 12. The legend is they ended up the Aquarian Foundation took them to court to get back the money that that they had all given them because they became disillusioned with them. And in the court case, it said that he made the judge bark like a dog,
yeah,
and the prosecutor faint.
Everyone else in the courtroom fainted,
and everyone, yeah,
and he got away. And then they've been able to track him to San Francisco, and then he disappears. So
well, he went to San Francisco, but then he ends up, there's another record of him in Finland with a doctor who is a member of the organization who signs his death certificate there. Now, then that same doctor was also quoted as saying he did not die, he was resurrected. And so who knows? Yeah. He could have died in 1934, but as a man who was heavily on drugs and had a mental break and traveled the world on the seas in a time when
who knows?
All of that, who knows?
Yeah.
It's a very fascinating story. I have
still have a lot of books to go through, and BC Archives is really chill about showing stuff. We just have to find it. Because they have so much, and they have missing books.
So yeah, there's so many stories of.
Oh, this isn't spooky, but um so we don't just do spooky stuff because I think to understand a place you need to understand everything. So I'm reading City in Color. And this is not spooky, but I love it. Hawaiians. Happy Beltane.
Happy Beltane. Have a good night.
Hawaiians Hawaiians helped establish the West Coast forts. Like the Hawaiians built Fort Vancouver, which is in um, Oregon. And then I forget, but the fort that became Vancouver, I think it was Fort Langley or Chilliwack. I can't remember. I apologize. And Fort Victoria, they built all that. They we had hundreds of Hawaiians employed doing trapping and boating and sailing. It actually became an issue. We actually took so many Hawaiians. I think they said there was around 300,000 on the islands, and then by like I think 20 or 30 years there was 130,000 islands, and that's with disease as well. So very interesting. And a lot of the Hawaiians because for a long time it took us a while to decide, what America owned, what Canada owned. And so the Hawaiians wanted nothing to do with the Americans because they didn't have rights. So even back then in the 1800s, or sorry, 1700s, 1600s.
1700s.
Yeah, sorry. Even back 1800s
when the
Hawaiians they couldn't become, I think it was they couldn't become citizens. Anyone who brought a Hawaiian into American territory had to pay a yearly fine. I can't remember what else. So Hawaiians, when they decided, oh no, Fort Vancouver is going to be American, they're like, okay, bye. And so some of them joined their wives in their indigenous homes. Um, and some came to Canada, or what would become Canada. And it's often you hear about, well, they joined with the indigenous tribes. So a lot of the indigenous cultures had Hawaiians absorbed into their nations, and a lot of Hawaiians were the first people here. They were a big part of the diversity, and we when Fort Victoria started to become established as a city and we didn't need laborers, um, we had an agency office in Honolulu to hire Hawaiians. That closed down, and Hawaii opened a consulate here in Victoria. No, we were supposed to go to Hawaii when the pandemic hit. So we'll go again, but we're going to go to Kauai like we originally wanted to.
Yeah.
My mom found out that we wanted to go to Hawaii and was like, "No, you gotta no," because we don't stay at really fancy hotels because we like spending money on adventure. So I found a 3-star hotel that looks clean. It looked great, and she freaked out and was like, "You can't stay there. Let's all go to Hawaii," and then made us go to Oahu, which no shade to Oahu at all, but we want to go to Kauai. That's more of our speed. So we're definitely going to go back, but everything is more expensive, and we're trying to make sure that we want to go in a time that isn't stressful for Hawaiians, and they've been dealing with a lot.
They've been dealing with too much lately.
Hopefully in the future.
Let's see here. We just talked about Brother 12. More local true crime type situation. This is the last thing that I have to share for tonight. We had Ripper murders back in 1899, the same as they had in London. But they never found the killer as well here. It's an open case still on the books.
Which, to be fair, a lot of people don't realize that BC has been wild for a very long time. Like, Canada was very settled when we were still wild. So it's easy for someone to disappear.
Well, up until 1900, Victoria was very much a port city for sailors. And so we had a ton of brothels, particularly in the downtown and Chinatown area. They had a lot of brothels, a lot of seedy dens and whatnot, but also the alleyways back then were very narrow and
we have is it the narrowest
we have the narrowest alley in North America
or something?
Yeah. In North America.
Yeah, and
it's like less than 6 feet across.
Tourists are so annoying. I get wanting to take a picture, but we just want to visit the stores, and so they will stand there and wait for other people to go by, and you're stuck waiting for them. It's so frustrating.
But so the Ripper murder, the first lady that was killed, that they had to investigate. Her name was Agnes Bing, and she was a baker. She ran her own bakery shop, and her brother was part of the seedier scene in Victoria. And so at first, when they were investigating, they thought that he had killed her. But he basically said, I was reading a book and I was engrossed in the book, and I just said, you can find your own way home. And so the cops left it at that. But when the investigators couldn't find the killer right away, the governor called in the Pinkertons.
And they never named the guy.
The guy that came was named Agent 5. And he started investigating this murder, and he found that there were other murders connected to this that were mishandled by the local constabulary, because they were prone to being bribed. They didn't have proper training. Most of them were part of the underbelly of the sea anyways. And so it was very much,
well, a lot of the West Coast is rough and tumble.
Yeah, it very much the Wild West of Canada. But Canada, basically up into the 40s, was very much still the Wild West.
No, we
well, here it was still very much the Wild West.
No, Victoria was pretty established by then, but
it wasn't on par with bigger, more cosmic. Victoria itself was a bigger city than Vancouver at that point in the 1940s.
We are the capital.
Vancouver has outstretched us by far now.
Yeah.
But
which is really funny. We're the capital city, but we're more like a small town. The way everything is.
Yeah. The wildness of this area was pretty insane back in the early 1900s. 17, 18, 1900s.
Murder on the Skeena, that is about Hazelton, and I apologize, I haven't looked up how to say it properly, but the indigenous people that lived right next to Hazelton. But Victoria is mentioned a lot of times because there was nearly an indigenous uprising in that area.
Yeah, it was over
It's there's a long number story, but it's the but it's really interesting to go up island or up the mainland. They actually had to use river boats like you see on the Mississippi.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
But
have a good night. Enjoy your bonfire.
Have a good one.
Yeah. We'll wrap it up soon too.
So
we have homemade cake to have.
Yes, we do. That's our Beltane snack. So the investigator ended up this one constable. He was very interested in this guy because he was a career criminal. 30 years. He was in and out of prisons. He ends up in prison again for I think some sort of petty crime. He'd been in for like 4 months. So they brought up another agent who they named Agent 3.
I think that was to protect him too, because Pinkertons were really hated.
They were hated. So it was better to keep their name out of it so that they couldn't track them.
But it sucks for history.
Yes. Yes, it does. So Agent 3 was in the cell with this guy. And he started talking about harming women and how he had always dreamed of gutting women the way he gutted fish. And he was talking about this murder that had happened in specific detail that only the agent knew was. So they suspected that he had committed the murder. But on the day of his release, he went to have a shower, came out of the shower, spitting up blood, and died in the arms of Agent 3, howling for forgiveness.
I mean, it's kind of hard to fact check
that. It's hard to fact check that. But this is in an official police report.
I will just say, if you wanted to cause trouble and you wanted to be able to disappear easily, the West Coast was the place to do it. Mm-hmm. Even now, you
could easily disappear.
I have had to have conversations with my dad because he's like, I don't understand, why won't they pave these roads? Because we took him to Avatar Grove when it was still open, and he wouldn't get out of the car. He just sat in the car. I took him all this way, and he was like, I don't understand why they won't pave his roads. And so,
because it was on the reserve, that's why.
Well, not only is it on reserve lands, it's a logging road, mm-hmm. right? And they get snow, and gravel's actually safer
than the.
But we have a lot of logging roads. It's, you go to the mainland BC, you go up, there'll be one road. It's still very wild here.
Yeah.
Our friend Brennan has just amazing stories. So listen to, we cannot recount them because I can't remember what he told us in confidence and what he said on the podcast anymore. So I just don't repeat stories at all.
If he wants to, we'll have him on and he can talk.
So
talk
listen
about
to
stories.
The ghost story, guys. All his stories are there. And A Strange Little Place is his book. Brennan's Store is his full name. Read his book. There's lots of stories.
Yeah.
But I mean, the stories about the mainland, it's still very wild. And there's one thing, and I always say this, and I don't know if Nathan sees this. Someone said there's no old forest anymore. It's all been developed. And I keep saying, maybe in Kentucky, there are places here in BC that have never seen a chainsaw. Yep. Never. We have old forest here. And we
have widowmaker trees too. So.
Oh yeah. So, okay. If you come to BC, this isn't paranormal. you need to check if Cathedral Groves is open or not before you make the trip.
Yep.
The thing is our trees are so massive that the branches can end your life. So when we have, and there's a lot of very, very old trees in Cathedral Grove. So after windstorm, they have to shut it down and go and inspect it to make sure it's safe for visitors. And the interesting thing is, it's actually more dangerous for them to get, the tree climbers and cut the trees. So when the trees die and, they leave them standing, they actually have to blow them up with dynamite because it's safer to blow up the treetops than to cut them.
Yep.
So we have old woods here. And so, yes, there is still old growth not touched by man.
All right. We'll leave it there.
Yeah, everything I had was just pulled from, it was just weird Egypt and stuff. We're just getting back into the swing of things. I do start school next week, but it's a much chiller
schedule
semester.
Yeah.
So that's going to be nice. I am looking for another job in the library. So, hey, if anyone in Victoria is hiring part-time, I need to start working in my field, but that's probably going to take a while. And it's summer. This is the worst time to start looking for a library job.
Yes.
Yeah, but we're going to do more stuff. I don't know what we're doing for May. We're reading DMT and the Spirit Molecule.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as exciting as I like the book, but it's not Revelations. Maybe I don't know what we'll talk about next month.
Okay.
We'll have to think of something. If
we'll figure it
out. Reach out to us if there's anything you want us to talk about.
Yeah, we'll leave it there.
In June, it's going to be really busy, so we might not do a public live stream in June.
We'll
do a short one.
A short one.
That's just where we talk about our trip.
Yeah.
Because we're going up island. I have to do my final projects
the week before we
the week we go.
The week we go.
The week we go, I have all my final projects for my condensed course, which imagine a normal semester, cut it in half, but keep the same amount of work. And then I have the worst registration time at 2:15 p.m. the day before we leave. And I'm like, that's great. I have ADHD. That means my whole day is ruined. And I'm like, 2:15 p.m. on Friday, I'm like, gee, I hope I'm able to get in any college course. So that's going to be stressful because I'm going to be waitlisted. So like, that's a nightmare. And then we go up island. And then the next weekend, my parents come up. So
it's going to be a busy week. Yeah. Busy month.
Yeah. So please send me good luck energy for my registration because I'm definitely going to be waitlisted. For the love of God, BC, please update your provincial money that you give to colleges because we need more instructors.
Yes.
So being waitlisted sucks because they redid the BC student loan. So now when you apply for student loan, you have to put
in specific courses.
What specific course you're in, which I'm like, well, this sucks because I'm waitlisted and like, oh, just.
All right. Have a good night on that
Have
note.
a good night. We'll see you next month.
Take care.